الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذ ابتلى إبراهيم ربه بكلمات فأتمهن قال إني جاعلك للناس إماما قال ومن ذريتي قال لا ينال عهد الظالمين صدق الله العظيم. Regarding ayat number 124 of Surat al-Baqarah, the main bayan, the main discussion was regarding the qissa and story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam. But before we get into the story of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, there needs to be a background given regarding the condition of the qawm, the condition of the nation to which Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam was sent. When it comes to shirk, associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we've already gone into the discussion regarding how Shaitan, he misled humanity and misled human beings by making insan or human being commit major sins. The first major sin that was committed was the major sin of murder or qatl, where the two sons of Sayyidina Adam alayhi salam, they had a dispute. So one sibling killed the other one. Those details are given in Surat al-Ma'idah. Afterwards, Shaitan, he started misleading human beings, especially those that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a hukum to the Nabi of that time, Shisa alayhi salam, that you basically isolate this group that was involved in murder and that has committed this major sin. That time, that was the way of dealing with the major sin. Is that anyone who involves in major sins, one should not associate with them. Rather protect themselves from them. And that group may end up getting regret and do tawbah. But Shaitan came to this isolated group and started getting them involved in other disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It so happened that during this time, the Nabi that was there at that time, which was also the son of Adam alayhi salam, Shisa alayhi salam, he then passed away. But during this time when he was alive, whenever the people would have some difficulty, they would have a problem, so they would come to him, he would make dua for them. The dua of a Nabi is accepted, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept the dua of Shisa alayhi salam and remove the difficulty from the people. It became an established understanding that the dua of righteous people is accepted. So after Shisa alayhi salam, he passed away, there was a succession of righteous elders in the community that their dua was accepted. So whenever the people had some problem, some issue, they would go to these righteous people and request them for dua. The righteous people would make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept their dua, and that difficulty was removed from the people. Righteous a'mal, they also have a very profound impact on a person. Righteous deeds, they give strength to the ruh. Just like this physical body, when we exercise, we're able to do things that a normal person cannot do. Those who exercise, they're a little more athletic than the average person, me or you. I'm not very big on exercise either. There are some who, mashallah, they claim to exercise, but even when they're going to the gym, they use an escalator to go up the stairs in the gym. So they have an amazing exercise. But those who are real athletes, you ask a normal person to run, how far they can go or how fast they can run. There's only so fast they can go and only so far they can go. After half a mile or 1 mile, maybe if they're lucky, 2 miles, the person will be out of energy, out of breath. But you take the athlete who's well trained and exercises regularly, so they'll be able to run very long distance, 5 miles, 10 miles. Even more than that, some run marathons, more than 20, 30 miles, no problem. But for a regular person to even think of 10 miles, someone like me, mashallah, 10 miles, this person must be beyond human at least. That's all they do the whole day. What other life to do? What kind of life is this? Spend the whole day running. Don't have nothing better to do. At least this is what we regular people will be thinking. You know? So, the physical body, when it is well maintained, it can do things that are beyond the norm of a normal person. Same applies to intellect. You find people highly intelligent because they spend their time studying, they train their minds, they train their memories, they train their intellect. So they're able to come to solutions that the average person would think are impossible to find solutions to. Sometimes in the medical field or in the engineering field or in all of the other fields, sometimes they come up with something that the average person is thinking, what kind of... First of all, when you listen to them, it sounds like gibberish because you can't understand what they're talking about. But even if they do explain it, it's amazing what high level of intellect they have. Because they train their intellect, spend time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made one system in this world for human beings. That whatever we put effort on, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the ability to make that thing valuable. So for the righteous people, when they make effort on the ruh, because of righteous a'mal, through purification, tahara, so through that purification and that training, it's like exercise of the ruh. Specifically the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also a lot of istighfar and other forms of righteous deeds, and much more in focus the masnoon ad'iyah, masnoon adhkar, those a'mal that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself instructed us to do. This is the first and foremost. Everything else comes after that. When the masnoon adhkar and masnoon ad'iyat, they are established in the life, then someone can think of the nawafil, of the extra a'mal. So once that is established in a person's life, so it gives amazing strength to the ruh. Certain a'mal, they have profound impact on a person even beyond the norm. And they end up giving a person, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He favors His ibad, He favors His righteous servants, sometimes with very, very particular gifts. This is not something that is outside of the norm of human capacity. Anyone can get to that level, but that effort is required. Just like anyone can become an athlete if you give it time, or anyone can become an intellectual or intelligent person given the right amount of time. Similarly, there are righteous people who have spent that time. So they reach a certain level even in their arwah or their ruh. And the ulama throughout the ages, specifically looking at the lives of Sahaba radiallahu anhum, have written extensively about the things that they were doing that were almost extraordinary. That did not seem something like the norm. There's a lot that has been written about Amirul Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu. That some of the conditions that used to happen around him were very extraordinary. Similar was the case of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Ali al-Murtaza radiyallahu anhu. And there were many, many other Sahaba radiyallahu anhum that kind of became famous for doing things that to a normal human seemed outside of the norm. Something very strange, that a normal human could not have known some of those kind of things. But Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us very clearly that some of the sifat and the qualities that are given to the righteous people, they are very extraordinary. Amongst them, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, اتقوا فراسة المؤمن فإنه ينظر بنور الله. That fear the firasat of a believer, because he sees things with the nur of Allah. Firasat means, well, it's difficult to translate, but they say deep wisdom or inner wisdom. They also have another intuition. There are many words for it. But those who are mu'mineen and believers, specifically those that spend time with their ruh, with their arwah, developing taqwa, performing righteous a'mal, so they do things that are very extraordinary. At the time of Khilafah of Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu anhu, when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he left this dunya, he left this world and went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the Khilafah of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu, he also during his Khilafah, after his Khilafah ended, when he retired or he went back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he passed away. There came the Khilafah of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radiyallahu anhu. During this time, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, he states that there was one time I was sleeping, time of qaylula. Qaylula is sunnah. Qaylula is a small nap that happens before the Dhuhr Salah. Okay, one is sina, when somebody dozes. One is naum, when somebody is very deep and even snores. Snoring is not good, but even they go very deep. And then one is qaylula. Qaylula is, it comes from the word qaleel, something small. It's a kind of small nap. That nap used to happen at zawal time. It is a sunnah to do it at when the midday, when the sun is in the middle of the day. That time also even it is makruh to perform nawafil. So that is a makruh time. So that time it is sunnah to sleep. This is right before Dhuhr Salah. So Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu, he was sleeping. So in his dream, he's dreaming now. In his dream he was going to the Masjid for Dhuhr Salah. So on the way, an old woman met him, gave him a basket full of dates and told him to take this to the Masjid, and this is a gift for Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, for the Sahaba. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu became very happy that, oh, I can meet Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he went to the Masjid with a basket of dates. He saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam sitting for Salah. After the Salah, Ali radiallahu anhu came, brought the dates to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, put the dates down, and said that there was a woman walking, I met her, she gave me this, that give this to you as a gift. So when Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he would receive such a gift, he used to distribute it to the Sahaba. So he started distributing. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam ate one, started giving to the Sahaba. Then he looked at Ali radiallahu anhu. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the dream took one date and put it in the mouth of Ali radiallahu anhu. And that date was so sweet, so delicious date. Ali radiallahu anhu, after he savored the taste and he enjoyed the date, he looked at Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the dream and he said, can I have another? And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam smiled at him. And this, Ali radiallahu anhu, he woke up. Adhan for Dhuhr was there, so he got up. He went to the Masjid. On his way to the Masjid, same old woman met him. Gave him a basket of dates. And said that this is for Amir al-Mu'mineen or Umar radiallahu anhu. You have to remember, this was Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, it already passed. So he said, this is for Amir al-Mu'mineen Umar radiallahu anhu. Give it to him as a gift. So Ali radiallahu anhu said, okay, good. He went to the Masjid and he was thinking that, in the dream I saw Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but now it's Umar radiallahu anhu, strange, no problem. So after the Salah, Ali radiallahu anhu went and gave the basket of dates to Sayyidina Umar al-Faruq radiallahu anhu and told him that this was a lady walking in the street, gave this as a gift for you. So you can do as you like. So Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu, he smiled. He said, okay, sit down. He started distributing the dates. And he looked at Ali radiallahu anhu and he took one date and he put it in the mouth of Ali radiallahu anhu. So Ali radiallahu anhu became surprised. He said, what a sweet date. So he looked at Umar radiallahu anhu. He said, can I have another? So Umar radiallahu anhu looked at him and said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam didn't give you a second date. What makes you think I'm going to give you a second date? So he got surprised. He said, how you know about my dream? You know, I just saw this dream. He said, I know. You don't get a second. Don't worry. So there were these Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give them this very, very deep firasat. It's kind of inner wisdom. They could see things in events that the average person was not privy to that kind of information. And there are many other incidents reported about Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu. He was a very amazing Sahabi. And there are many other Sahaba like this also. All of the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, they were amazing Sahaba radiallahu anhu. So, this is kind of a known thing. One is firasat. Another is also that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes gives them kashf. And sometimes the veil of events are open to them. They're able to see people's conditions. Sometimes they're able to help them. Many of the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that are very righteous, they become instrumental in helping people in the lives of people. Sometimes even changing the lives of people. When they're given this kind of kashf, they're able to see things, they're able to help people. So there are many, many other gifts that come with wilayat or being friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this, at the time of, this was before Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, there were many awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, righteous friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that also displayed these kind of gifts. They used to do many, many things that on the norm did not seem normal. They would give people solutions that ended up becoming amazing solutions. They would make dua for the people, their lives would change. There were in that time or at that time a kind of idea that ended up developing amongst the people, that these righteous people, that they are above and beyond normal. They are above and beyond the human. This is where the first concept of it's known as insani kamil, the perfect human, or beyond the human is concerned. So people started having this kind of idea. When these righteous people, they passed away, the rest of the qawm or the nation used to speak about them. How amazing they were. And many a times in the discussions, used to be discussions regarding their special gifts. Someone had deep wisdom, understanding situations, so they used to speak about that person's deep wisdom. If somebody had leadership ability where they were able to speak and convince people, so he was praised for that, and so on and so forth. At that time, shaitan came to the people and started putting in the minds of the people that it's not just humans that have these gifts, but these gifts actually come from animals. Shaitan is very clever. So he put in the minds of the people that these gifts actually come from animals. And he told them that, shaitan put this in the mind of humans, that when it comes to foresight, as we call it basir or basara, or this firasat, this inner wisdom, so shaitan put in the minds of the people that there is a creature known as the eagle. It has very sharp eyesight and it sees very far. So these humans actually, they're not something special, but they kind of have animalistic qualities. So shaitan put this in the minds of the people. And at this time also shaitan came to the people and said that I can show you a way where you can remember these righteous people with their gifts, with the association that you have. And shaitan took the qawm or the nation to a mountainside that was there, and he kind of drew figures, showed them how to draw figures or carvings into the mountains to make the first idols. And the carvings that shaitan made, he kind of put in the minds of the people that these should be half human and half animal type of whatever you want to call it, so that they can remember that this was the one who had that particular type of gift. This is how shaitan is so clever. That is why in our sharia, in the sharia of us Muslims, drawing figures, human figures, this is not allowed. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us in a hadith that on the day of judgment, the most severest punishment, أَشَدُّ النَّاسِ عَذَابًا يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ الْمُصَوِّرُونَ. The most severest punishment for people on the day of judgment will be those al-musawwirun, Those who draw figures and draw these shapes and make idols, especially without a reason. Yes, if there is a reason, the fatwa, the ulama have given, if there is a necessity, so to that necessity it is allowed. You have your passport, you have your ID, your driver's license, etc. This much is allowed. For a person to go above or to go beyond that, this is not allowed. They even have figures at home, so there's no barakah in those kind of homes. Another hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam told us, لا تدخل الملائكة بيتا فيه قلب أو تصاوير. That the angels, meaning the angels of mercy, they do not enter that home where there are tasawir, there are pictures, and there's dogs. These are the angels of mercy, they don't enter this house. So that's why we should be very, very careful with pictures. Unnecessary. Things are unnecessary. You don't need to have pictures hanging up on the walls. This is not, what benefit of this? Yeah, for your own, you can keep them closed in your own photo album, keep them away, whatever the case is. Go read the fatwa of the ulama and what fatwa is there related to these pictures. And beyond that, one should be very, very careful whatever is not needed. Because this was how shaitan started misleading people. And also in our sharia, because this became a means of people being misled, it became a kind of cursed act. This is what led people to shirk, to associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is why these are considered very despicable acts. So shaitan, he started making these idols for the people. Time came where humanity ended up growing. People moved, aqwam moved. This specific mountain was in between where the people lived and the masjid where the people used to gather to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the people on the way to the masjid, they used to remember those righteous people and make dua for them. On the way back from the masjid home, they used to remember those righteous people. But now people started moving. And it became difficult for everyone to visit that memory. So shaitan came to the next home, to the children of that nation, and said, why don't you take these pictures, put them in the back of your masjid. Everybody gathers at the masjid. Genius idea, shaitan is very genius. So they put the pictures of these idols in the back of the masjid. People would pray the salah. After the salah they would go. And on the way out, they used to remember those righteous people and make dua for them. Oh Allah, bless such and bless such and such. The next generation, the children saw their parents doing this. So shaitan came to the children, the next generation. The next generation always go one step further. They don't stop, they always go one step further. So shaitan came to the next generation and told them, you see, your parents told you the tales about these righteous people. This one had this quality and that one had that quality. And your parents even worshipped these idols. So shaitan started idolatry or shirk. And people started worshipping these idols and developing yaqeen and conviction in the power of these idols. There were 5 major idols at the time of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. And the people used to tell one another that do not give up your belief in these idols. وَلَا تَذَرُنَّ وَدًّا وَلَا سُوَاعًا وَلَا يَغُوثَ وَيَعُوقَ وَنَسْرًا. Do not give up your belief in these. Wad, Suwa', Yaghuth, and Nasr. The kind of 5 idols that represented 5 different animalistic qualities, but also humanistic qualities. There was the eagle, the lion, the horse, the bull, and the human, the man. The kind of qualities that these animals had. So people kind of had a belief in the power of animals and also the power of humans and started worshipping these idols, that these idols would give them benefit. And this is how shirk started. They used to make dua to these idols in the hope that these idols would give them things. Even though before that their parents would go to these righteous people to make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would accept their dua and help the people. But now the shirk started where people started believing that these idols have the power to change our conditions. And this is how shirk started. And at the time of Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, for a very long time, what's amazing and strange also, now about shirk is once that shirk goes into the heart, and that yaqeen is corrupted, that conviction is corrupted, it's very difficult to fix. Some things, once they're broken, no matter how much you fix them, you can't really fix it. Very difficult. So Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam, he tried for a very, very long time to change the aqidah of his qawm, but it was very, very difficult. This is how shirk, the first time when it came around, this is how shirk came about the first time, before Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. The second time that shirk started, we all know about the flood of Nuh alayhi salam, the whole qawm was destroyed. After that there were other aqwam and nations came, they're also involved in different kinds of shirk that kind of related to the shirk of the time of Nuh alayhi salam. But at the time of Sayyidina Ibrahim alayhi salam, the shirk was very different. It was a different type of shirk. That how shaitan misled humanity in believing in things that do not really have any kind of power, particularly celestial objects, stars, the sun, the moon, the planets. Shaitan started putting their aqidah in this. Inshallah, we'll go into the details and discuss that tomorrow. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give all of us understanding and give us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.